Welcome to Hot to Trot. This is not your normal horse racing podcast. My name's Ashley Eisenbiel.
And I'm Donna Locke, and we're your hosts for Hot to Trot.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Hot to Trot. This one is a special episode because, one, it's Smarty Jones, and you know his name. He is the best. It's been 20 years since he's been racing on the track, and which is insane to me. But we also have a special event coming up at Parx Racing on August 24th. Not only is it Smarty Jones Day, it's also Ashley's birthday, but she's going to be at the track. So what are the details of the track, Ashley? There's a lot going on that day.
I know. So post time, first post is at 12:40. So we're super excited to have everybody come out. So get there early because they will be giving away a special edition Smarty Jones cooler while supplies last. So get there early, ladies and gentlemen, because I will be in line getting mine because I'm going to need to
mine. Don't forget mine.
I'll have Rob get yours. He can hold on to yours. Aiden and Wyatt, they all have to buy programs and make sure they get their coolers. So also, they're going to have lots of family fun that day. And we have 6 stakes races. So it's going to be an awesome birthday for me because you know me, I love racing. So being able to be a degenerate little gambler on my birthday at the racetrack is exactly where I want to be, going over the hill. So should be a lot of fun. I'm not working. Let's all make that known. We're not going to have a booth, PTHA. No, this is a holiday. This is a fun day. Fun day at the track for Ashley.
What better way to spend a 40th birthday than at the track on Smarty Jones Day?
I know. And also, I'm hearing that there's going to be some limited edition baseball jerseys. I don't know. I don't have the details yet, but I would say tune into Parx Racing and the PTHA's Facebook and Twitter to find out how you can get those, because I haven't seen them. I've heard a lot of rumors about these baseball jerseys, though. They're like, it's kind of top secret information we're leaking. We probably are going to get in trouble for this one.
I'm excited. I've heard the same thing. And I've said to like 10 different people, excuse me, please make sure I get a jersey. I really, really want one. So if I don't get one, it's going to be a bad birthday for Ashley. I'm going to be complaining.
I'm like not going to believe it till I see it because I have not yet to see a picture of this thing. So I've just heard rumors about them. Like I said,
I hope the rumors are true. I really want to see them.
I'm ready. Oh, well, if that's the giveaway, then you guys are really going to owe me because it's going to be my birthday and I'm giving you guys all these gifts of getting all your merch.
As it should be. As it should be.
Such a pain. That's all right. Well, talking about Smarty Jones, how old were you when Smarty Jones ran in the Derby 20 years ago?
So I was only in 4th grade. So I don't know. How old are you in 4th grade? I don't even remember my age. I just can always tell what grade I am because it goes with the year. So 2004, I was 4th grade. 2005, I was in 5th grade. That's just my hack. Yeah.
That's your hack.
Yeah. But I remember, obviously, I've always been a horse girl, love horses. So I remember him racing, and my dad's a big thoroughbred. Like, he loves watching the Derby. That's his big betting day. So, I mean, we knew him in the household. My sister and I fought over his Briar. I need to go find his Briar now. I know it's somewhere in my mom's attic. I don't collect them, though. Like, I took them out of the package and I played with him. Like, he was in my toy barn galloping around. But I did have the Smarty Jones Briar. Like, I was a big fan, so I do remember it.
See, I wasn't into horse racing yet. I didn't get into horse racing until I actually worked at Preakness and like after college. But I remember it because I worked in Sobel's, which was a grocery store, our local grocery store. I worked in the bakery section. And the day that like the Sports Illustrated came out, my dad had me like go buy like 4 or 5 of them because he was like, it's going to be a collector's item. Like, you know, the Beanie Baby type thing.
It's crazy. It doesn't feel like 20 years has passed, though. Like, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
And we're still celebrating him. Like, he was such a huge part of history, especially for Pennsylvania. His offspring's still racing on the track. So that's always exciting to see. You got to see him this past winter out at the breeding farm, too.
Yes. Or you get to go out to see old Rodney. I love Rodney and his girls. Their whole family's so amazing. I love them so much. Whenever I can get out to Equistar Farm, I do. I do have a funny, not so recent, but the last Smarty Jones day that they had at Parx, when they brought him out to the track, I was like, I want to do like these specialty, like Smarty posters. And maybe what we'll do, Donnell, is we can do like a special giveaway.
Oh, okay.
Because I have some of these posters left and they are each numbered and they have Smarty Jones hoof print on them. And I got those hoof prints. And can I let you guys know, that was the scariest day of my life. Because Rodney took him out into like the breeding shed, which he comes out only for like, he knows what he has to do. So, but Rodney's so good, and his wife with their horses, like they know exactly what they're doing. But I literally like had a team behind me, and I was the one that would put his hoof to the ink pad, and then they would hand me the poster, they would take the ink pad, and then so many times I thought, because he can get a little
Well, he's a stud. Stud muffins are a little wild.
I don't know what I was thinking. When I tell people, everybody's like, you're crazy. He wasn't sedated. I'm like, nope, Rodney didn't sedate him. We just did it. So there's not that many of them. I think we got like 15, but we were literally like, there was 3 people behind me, like taking each poster and laying it on a table to dry and then handing me back the ink. Because I was like, I have to be the one to do this. This was like my idea. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be me.
Oh, so you should talk to me. I did a life hack. So we did that for foiled again, but Ronnie and Michelle gave me his shoes. So I took his shoes, just put ink on them, stamped them on there. Because foiled's very nice. He's a gelding, so he's very nice and would probably stamp everyone's. But I was like, buddy, I'm going to save you some time. Here's carrots. Give me a pair of your shoes. And I stamped them for everyone. So it's me and foileds.
Why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah, way easier. I didn't think you'd want to stomp paper all day. So I saved him some time. I gave him a bag of carrots and I got his shoes.
I hate you. I saw my life like flash before my eyes like 3 times.
Yeah, no. There's easier way. Work harder, work smarter, not harder.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's not like making, I guess I'm dumb and I'm like, it's like, I make paw prints. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I just know it would be awesome to have like these collector posters. Oh, no. Okay. Well, you know what? That was being some extra special people. I almost died.
Yeah. Now you have a special story from it. So it's fine.
He was actually really good. Like it never came to that. Like he never reared up or anything. It was just like me going, oh my God, we got to be quick. We got to do this quick. Like this, like underneath this huge stallion. And he's used to mounting mares here, not just lifting his leg. But he was really, really good. He didn't do anything crazy, but I just know I was very nervous. And Rodney's like, gotta keep it moving. Keep it moving, Ashley. I'm like, I'm going. I was like,
Nice,
I'm good. I'm good. We're done. I'm happy with what we got. So there's like smudge marks. Like everyone is different.
Yeah, see, it's extra special that way. So it's fine.
Oh, for sure. They're very special. So we'll give one away. We'll have to think of a contest.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll do a hot to trot little contest for one of those.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys are going to really enjoy the episode today. We have Pat Chapman and John Servis, a Smarty Jones owner and trainer. Very special people to us, have been great to PHRA over the years, helped us out a lot. And we had a great time interviewing them and learning more about their journey with Smarty Jones 20 years ago. And we hope you enjoy listening. Thank you so much for joining us, John and Pat Chapman, with us here today for our special episode featuring Smarty Jones because of the upcoming Smarty Jones Day at Parx Racing. We're so excited to have you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Well, Pat, I want to start out with you. Can you tell our listeners how Smarty got his name?
Well, that's an easy one. Thank you for starting with an easy. Smarty was born on February 28th, 2001. Am I right, John?
You're right.
And that was my mother's birthday. And I thought I've got to name him after my mother, but did not want to name him Mildred. And I played around with my mother's initials and all kinds of ways to get her name in there, and finally remembered a story she had told me when I was a little girl, when she was living with her grandparents, her mama and Papa Jones. Now, she was McNair, Mildred. Hello. And she said that her Papa Jones, would say, "What's your name, little girl?" And she would say, "Mildred Evelyn McNair." And he would add, "Smarty Jones." He wanted the Jones in there. So she had to learn to tell him that her name was Mildred Evelyn McNair Smarty Jones. So I said to my husband, "What do you think of the name Smarty Jones?" And he said, "I like it." So that's how we ended up with that name. But, you know, I since found out that that's also John's mother's birthday. Right, John? February.
Yeah.
There were a lot of coincidences on that February 28th. So if I'd only known that and known John at the time, we could have come up with a different name maybe. But I think Smarty Jones turned out to be a real good name.
That's an amazing story. I can't believe, John, your mother was born on that birthday too. That's such a, like, when the stars align. And February is like one of the least birthday months. People are like one of the smallest amount of people are born in that month. I think it's because it's the shortening of the month. But
And the 28th,
so, cool.
so it just snuck in.
That is so cool. I love that.
You know, when I found out that John's mother was born on that day, we're talking about when his first race at Oak Lawn Park was going to be. And I said, "When is that, John?" He said, "It's sometime the end of February." And I thought, end of February? Oh, my goodness. What date? And he said, "I really don't know." But I looked at the calendar and saw that February 28th was on a Saturday. And I called Oak Lawn Park and asked about the date for that Southwest Stakes. And she said February 28th. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's terrific." And she said, "Why? You have a horse in that race?" And I said, "I do." She said, "What's his name, honey?" And I said, "Smarty Jones." And she said, "Oh, I'm a Jones. I'll be rooting for you." So then I told John that that was Smarty's birthday, February 28th. And he said, "Pat, that's my mother's birthday too." So, you know, those stars kept lining up, didn't they, John?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
A very special date for sure.
Yeah.
John, when he first came into your barn, did you know he was going to be as special as he was, or what was your first impression when he came in?
No, I mean, I don't think anybody knew he was going to be as special as he was. When he came in, he did come in with a little fanfare. They really liked him at the farm. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think they tried to buy him. Didn't they, Pat? Didn't George Isaacs try to buy him when he was at the farm?
He was trying to buy him for a number of people. They had a lot of eyes on that horse. And
Yeah, so they knew he had some talent.
Yeah, they did know.
But I guess probably about his second or third breeze. I remember my assistant, Maureen, used to breeze the horses for me in the morning. And I remember, I think it was probably his third breeze. And he did nothing crazy, but he did it well in hand and really nice. And I remember her pulling up right in front of me. She turned around, looked at me and said, "Man, finally somebody was right." Because you get horses come from the farm all the time and they say, "Oh man, this horse is really good," because he worked a good 3 furlongs or something like that. But a lot of times once you start getting them a little farther than that, they don't pan out, you know? So the fact that she felt it like the second or third breeze was pretty good indication that he was going to be a decent horse.
Do you remember at what point you were like, "Oh yeah, I have a Derby contender here"?
I would, the first sign of even thinking that we might have that kind of horse was probably his second start in the futurity, because he ran really fast and was very impressive. And I remember talking to Pat and Chappie after the race, and I'm like, we need to sit down and talk about what we're going to do with this horse, map out a plan. But part of that plan was waiting to see if he would handle 2 turns before, we started getting into that, because he obviously had brilliant speed. We just didn't know how far he could carry it.
Wow. So did you have any challenges you faced when training Smarty Jones?
Well, obviously the starting gate issue came into hand early on, when he got hurt at the starting gate. And that was really kind of a freak thing, because he was a very smart and very well-behaved horse. And I don't know if something spooked him that day or what happened, but Maureen said he was standing perfect. And then all of a sudden he just exploded. He just blew and went straight up. And when he did, he hit his head, and he hit his head so hard it just dropped him. And he dropped right in the gate. Rang his bell pretty good. And he ended up with a fractured orbital bone around his eye. And he probably missed about close to a month of training. Ended up at the clinic with Patty Hogan for a while, and Patty took great care of him. And when he came back, he was good. And then after that, other than him being a very tough horse to train to gallop, we ducked a lot of hurdles. I mean, just to give you an example, I sent 2 vans to Oaklawn that year full of horses. He was on the first van, and we were going through the mountains of Tennessee, and they had an ice storm that hit literally 10 minutes after the first van got through there. The second van got stuck on the side of the road for about 20 hours. And he was on the first van and made it in with no problems at all. Everything, you see how hard it is to get to the Derby. To get there with one horse is extremely hard, and to have everything go well, that's a rarity.
Pat, was there a time, since you obviously were offered money, did you always know he was special and wanted to ride it out and not sell him?
Oh, I never wanted to sell him. Ever since that first offer came in, and if my husband kept answering the phone, he might have been tempted. But the horse was in my name. And I told George Isaacs, when George would call, I'd say, George, don't let this guy string you along. He'll want to know what kind of offer, and he may string you along. That horse is not for sale. And I said to Chappie, you can't buy this kind of excitement. We knew he was a nice horse. And I said, this is what we've been waiting for, this kind of fun in racing. And so, no, I was never tempted.
Oh, John, so after Smarty's victory and being a Derby winner, how did that impact your career as a trainer?
I think it opened a lot of doors for me. I had a lot of opportunities to go to other racetracks that I didn't follow up on, mostly because of family. I liked where I was. My kids were settled here, and things were good. So we stayed put. I brought in some new clients that jumped on board after that, and it was pretty hectic for a while with a lot of there was so much excitement about him, and even after he got beat, we were still doing a lot of interviews and stuff like that, and that was probably for about a year, and then things started quieting down.
I feel like he's such a household name too. Like everyone remembers Smarty and knows Smarty Jones.
Do you believe it? 20 years later, people are still talking about him. I just got a letter last week from a woman who had bid on a meet and greet with Smarty and had been out to Rodney's to visit him and was so thrilled. Rodney said, she was near tears looking at him. And 20 years later, John, you said something that I'm gonna correct you on. You said when he got beat, and I hate to hear that word. That horse, he won second place in the Belmont. That was the hardest race of his life and maybe the best one ever. And you know what it took to beat him. No, he won second place in that race. Don't say he got beat.
Okay, you got it. I'll try to remember that.
Okay. I correct everybody who says he got beat. No, don't say that.
obviously he took you guys on the ride of a lifetime. Do you have a favorite memory or favorite race with him during his race career?
I mean, there's so many memories, God, and there's so many stories, crazy stuff that went on. My favorite race, obviously, was the Preakness. I mean, that's one of the most impressive races I've ever seen a horse run, and it's hard to get that out of your head.
That was a fabulous race. We'll never forget that. And I hope that record holds forever. I hope he's, always won by the greatest margin. But one of my favorite memories was sitting with John when he was starting in the nursery stakes. My husband couldn't get upstairs. And I said to him, I hate to leave you alone, but I'm going to go up and watch this race with John. Because I was, really excited about what might happen. And when Smarty kept pulling away from John, just saying, oh no. And I thought, what's wrong with this? He just kept getting further and further away. And John was just, well, oh no. And after he won so impressively, I said, John, what was, and John said, he said, I was so afraid he was just going to hit that wall and slow down and they would all pass him. But that memory sticks in my mind because he just kind of blew us away in that race.
He had the one hole in a full field, and I'm sure a lot of it's angle also, but it always looks like the one horse breaks a step slower than everybody else. And we were concerned. I told Stu it was only a second start, and I said, you're going to have to get him out of there because full field, if you don't, they're all going to come down and you're going to be stuck behind horses. And so when he broke, Stu hustled him away from there 2-3 jumps, and he went right to the lead. And then when he reached and grabbed him, he just kept going. And I think they went 21 and change, 44 and change, 8 and change. And I'm thinking, oh man, he's going to cave in like a cheap suit. He was just way too fast. And he just kept going. And he was only, I think he ended up like 3/5 of a second off the track record.
Darn it.
That was his second start.
Yeah.
And that was the race that we said, we need to sit down and talk about what we're going to do with this horse.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Derby that time. You thought maybe, but we've got to find out about 2 turns. Send him to New York.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what kept us, because we didn't take him south until after the first of the year for that very reason.
Yeah.
We kept him up north until the Jerome to make sure we didn't want to take him all the way to Oaklawn if he wasn't going to get the distance. So we waited for the Jerome and ran him in there, which was 2 turns, and he passed that with flying colors, and we were off to Oaklawn.
Right.
I think 3 days later.
Yeah.
What a remarkable horse. It's been amazing. Pat, you judged a little bit on the fans, and Smarty has the most amazing, dedicated fans I have ever seen in any sport, to be honest. They come out in drones, especially on that Smarty Jones day. I know I get goosebumps a couple years ago when we were able to bring Smarty out to the track and you were there. And that was just amazing to meet the fans and have you there and to see their dedication to the horse. Is there any memories or particular stories you want to share with us that a fan reached out, touched you, their story, or, kept updating you? Because I know I've gone through all the letters and stuff that they would write you to, or write to Smarty, not, particularly you, in case sometimes they did write to you, but they really wrote a lot of letters to Smarty.
They sure did. And John ended up with a whole heck of a lot of letters. And we ended up with some of those letters too. And John and Sherry would send some to us. I think they got tired of answering fan mail. And I tell you, my hand was wearing out too. It
was thousands. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've moved several plastic boxes full of fan mail. I ended up having pen pals, and I thought, no, I can't do this. I would write back. I answered every letter, and almost near the end, I think I missed a few when Chappie was getting sicker. But there are several fans that would kept writing back to me, and I think, oh gosh, this cute little girl, this sweet little boy, this whatever, and finally had to wean them off. But there was one young girl who had fallen in love with Smarty. She was 10 years old. The first horse race she ever saw was his Belmont. And her father called her in and said, Madison Scott said, Madison, you want to come in and see this race. This may be history. And she watched it and fell in love with Smarty when he won second place, John, won second place. And she didn't write to me right away, but when he went to Three Chimneys, she struck up a correspondence with Three Chimneys, and she really got involved in the horse world. She ended up, and then we did end up being pen pals. I had Madison and her mother at my home in Pennsylvania a couple of times, and would drive her around to the different farms and show her the Pennsylvania bred Smarties, and she ended up going to the University of Kentucky and got her degree in equine, whatever, and she is working in the field now, and quite a young lady. So that's one that has stuck with me.
He inspired a young lady's whole career.
Absolutely. He was
amazing.
You know, he inspired so many people. And John, I know there are letters that stand out to you. I remember that little young man, Beach Cutler.
Yes.
Who, in his therapy, Smarty inspired him. Do you remember?
I do remember him. Yeah. There was a lot of really, really good ones. Yeah. Really good ones. There was one girl that fell in love with Smarty and was following Smarty, and she was from Pennsylvania. She was actually from the Ben-Salem area.
Right.
And she had gone through Dick Girardi, and Dick got a hold of me and said she's interested in trying to get into the Flying Start program, which is the education program that Godolphin sponsors.
Right.
And he said, she just wants an interview. She's having trouble trying to get an interview. Well, ironically, the president of Godolphin now used to be a hot walker for me. That's where he started on the racetrack. And so I called him, Dan Pride, and I said, Dan, I told him what I had, and he goes, I mean, I can't promise you anything, but we'll get her an interview for sure. And I said, okay, great. And they interviewed her, and she ended up getting in the program. And I think she finished first in the program as far as, the education part. And now she's a steward in Indianapolis. So she's gone on, done very well.
That's right. And, Madison also went through that Fly and Start program. And,
okay.
And that's terrific.
Great program.
It really is. And I met that young lady you're talking about. Dick introduced me to her one day at the track. And I was so thrilled when she was included, when she got into the program.
I don't know if you girls are familiar with the Flying Start program, but their entrants are from all over the world. I mean, they're Japan, Europe, everywhere. And they travel all over the world to the different racetracks, different farms. So it's quite an education. It really is.
I think that's amazing. And I think it's so nice that you guys wrote back to fans. I never wrote you a letter, but I had his Briar when his Briar came out. And my sister and I actually argued over it. So my parents had to get us one each.
And they were hard to come by. They were selling out so fast you couldn't get them.
Yeah, I still have it.
I remember I was a junior in high school, and I worked at the local grocery store. And when the Sports Illustrated came out, the magazine, my dad had me go buy 4 of them because he swore they were going to be worth money. He was a big fan. I was just a junior in high school, and I hadn't gotten into horses or racing or anything. But I do remember the buzz my dad had for Smarty, just being from Pennsylvania and being, someone interested in horse racing. He was like, this is going to be it. You don't understand. This hasn't happened. This horse everybody loves this horse. This horse is Pennsylvania's horse. And I remember those conversations at the dinner table.
It was great because, you never hear and you never heard about horse racing on the radio unless it was an advertisement. And they were talking about Smarty Jones like on sports radio and even the music stations. They were talking about him every day. It was pretty cool.
And how many songs were written about him, John? I'm not sure.
Oh, geez. Yeah. And everyone thought theirs were better than the next.
That's right.
Well, we talked about his racing career. As he went into his breeding career, did you guys keep up with him and take interest in any of his offspring?
We did. Pat way more than me, obviously. Pat and Chappie, wanted to support him. But I had not his best offspring, but I trained certainly one of his better offsprings that Pat and Chappie bred and owned. And he was a very good horse, named after the farm. His name was Someday Jones. And I think he made, what did he make, Pat, like 600,000 or something?
Yes.
He was a really nice racehorse.
Right. Yes. He had some very decent offspring, and he's still breeding. And golly, his progeny have just passed what is it, John? Do you know, John, is it 47 million in earnings that he has just passed that?
I don't know, Pat.
I think I read that recently. I follow them on the Smarty Jones Facebook page.
Me too.
There's this wonderful man in California who follows every offspring, and now he's following great grand.
Wow. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't see that, but that's pretty amazing.
Get somebody it's amazing, absolutely. And there's still some, decent ones popping up. So I guess he'll be in the breeding shed again one more year anyway. We'll see how that goes. But I do follow.
Speaking of which, that Alfie's Magic ran yesterday and finished second.
Yeah.
She ran good, though. She ran a good race. It was a very tough race.
Yeah, I heard she ran well, then that she got, hopefully she's going to bounce back.
So, Pat, how did Smarty's success influence you with owning racehorses after he won the Derby?
Well, I have certainly been in this business a lot longer than I ever intended to be. I'm no longer buying girlfriens for Smarty because he's getting too old. I'm not talking about my age. He's getting too old. I want to be around to enjoy them. But in the beginning, I bought several broodmares for him and supported him that way. Probably should have bought more, but I didn't know what I was doing. And Chappie passed away in 2006. So I've been on it. It was way more fun when he was around and, being part of the excitement and saying, oh, you ought to get rid of that dog or hang on to that one or let's get another one or whatever. But I gotta get out of this business soon, John. It's costing me too much money.
To quote Mark Reed, he used to say, it's no game to be played in short pants. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And it's so true. Mm-hmm.
I adore Mark Reed.
Yes.
He's a very good man. And he taught me a lot when I came up here in Pennsylvania about the breeding aspect. I met him down in Maryland, and he's been a very good friend to me and over the years, and taught me a lot about breeding. He was the first gentleman to let us put cams in his barn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I spent many a night out there trying to run internet to his barn so we could film his mares. So he's been a great mentor.
Same here. Very, very dear friend and a great mentor.
And we ended up with John because of Mark. Mark had been our trainer for a number of years. And Mark got pretty big and was buying much more expensive horses, and we weren't ready for that yet. And we went to Bob K-Mac. And when Bob and Marianne were murdered, the year Smarty was born, when George Isaacs was telling us the next year that, we have a really nice colt there, and you're going to need to get a trainer who would travel, we called Mark Reed, and Mark gave us 2 names, and one was in Maryland and one was in Pennsylvania. And he told us, he said, John's a good man. He worked for me. And we had remembered meeting John briefly at a party at Mark's house, and it was a no-brainer for us. John was our man, and he's still my man.
Love that.
Thank you.
Pennsylvania Racing, we're like a family. We help each other out. It's great. I love how we all come together, especially on the breeding side. I know so many, farms that, communicate with each other and link up, and that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Donnell, you have any other questions?
I don't. I'm just big fans. I'm glad you guys came on the podcast because I loved Smarty as a kid growing up. And obviously it's crazy that it's 20 years later, but he's still a name everybody knows.
That's right.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well, we have a couple more things we got to hit on quick. We got to talk about Smarty Jones Day coming up on August 24th, which I'm going to drop it now. That is my 40th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So happy early birthday.
Happy, yes.
Celebrating it. Yes, on Smarty Jones Day.
Will you be at the track?
I do plan on coming out for a little bit with the family.
Wonderful.
Good. Nice.
And I know you're going to be at the track too, Pat, right?
I'm coming up. I better start making a reservation here. I better start looking into it.
Going to be sneaking up on you real quick.
It is. Oh my gosh.
We're so excited. So fans can come out. They're going to have a lot of family fun. We're going to have more details here soon. And I know they're going to be giving away a cooler too. So fans will be able to get their special Smarty Jones cooler while supplies last. Wow. Family fun, 6 stakes races. So fun all around.
Wonderful. Big day.
Huge day. And lastly, the only thing we need to touch on here is our hot seat. So we're going to put you guys quickly in the hot seat. We're going to ask you some real fun questions. These are rapid fire. You just answer them right off the top of your head. No need to think. And don't worry, they're not too bad.
Oh, dear. Not too bad, huh?
Yeah. So this is the hot seat. And I'm going to kick it off with our first question. Would you rather have the hiccups or sneeze every time someone says your name?
Sneeze for me.
Sneeze.
Would you rather scuba dive or skydive?
Scuba dive, definitely.
I've never done either. I don't know how. Maybe I'd try skydiving.
I could see Pat skydiving.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Not me. No, I'm not jumping out of any airplane. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm with you, John.
All right. What is your favorite zoo animal?
Oh, maybe an elephant. I just saw another program on elephants, and they're wonderful. I don't know. Elephant.
I think for me, probably orangutan.
They're always fun to watch.
Yeah, they're smart. They're way smarter than they look.
They are.
Very intelligent animals.
Do you believe that aliens exist?
No.
I'm not sure.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes or no? Do I have to give a yes or no? I just want to say maybe. I'm almost hoping they do, but up to it because it would explain some weird things that happened.
Area 51.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. If you had to have one dessert for the rest of your life, what would that dessert be?
A hot fudge sundae served over pecan pie.
Ooh.
Actually, that's
Wow.
two, but
You answered that way too easy. Way too easy.
they're my two favorites. But I thought if I could have them as one, that would be it.
My favorite, I don't even know what you call it. My wife makes this cake with like chocolate wafers and Cool Whip. And it's almost like a log cake, but it's so good. It's my favorite. That would be mine.
That sounds good.
Well,
I'm going to have to taste that. She's going to have to send me the recipe.
Very good. Very good.
Well, that was the hot seat. You guys handled it. It wasn't that bad.
not that
I think
bad.
we passed, Pat. I think we passed.
I think so. I think we got through that.
You guys did good.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, Donnell,
Awesome.
will you be there on Smarty Jones Day?
I won't. I live over in Pittsburgh, so I'm
Ooh,
far
no.
away. So I only come over. I won't even actually be at PA Derby this year. So no, I'm missing out.
Nah. Well,
She
But I
has
hope
to,
Ashley saves me a cooler bag. And I hear they're maybe giving jerseys away too. So I'm hoping Ashley gets me some goods, even though it's her birthday.
I'm going to come back with all the goodies. Don't worry. I know I'll hear it.
better save something for John and me. Well, John will be there, but I'll be coming in late. So better save something for me.
That sounds like a job for Jeff Maddie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We've had so much fun here on Hot to Trot with you, and we can't wait to see you all on Smarty Jones Day on August 24th, my birthday, at Parx Racing.
Aw,
Looking forward to it, girls. Thank you so
looking
much.
forward to it. It's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to the Standardbred Breeders of Pennsylvania for sponsoring Hot to Trot. We'll see you next time.